something comes up that says, you better watch out. And you feel that. And then you ask, is it true? I better watch out. Is it true? What do I get for holding that belief? Terror and watching out. You see. Who would I be without the belief? Free. Just watching. Awareness. Watching. Whatever comes, I look forward to that. Not careful. Not careful. Careful to protect what? Every belief arising attached to is about keeping the body alive. So if we drop all of that and we're not careful, we live without the belief, you see, life. 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 Life itself. Yes? Yes, honey. Let's do it. Let's do the work.
Would you like to come up here?
Thank you, my friend. No mistake.
Keep your no mistake.
Good, Cheryl. Let's play.
Mine is more on the after death.
On the after death. Okay, let's undo it.
I don't like my mother because she frightens me with threats of eternal damnation after my death.
Okay. Now, mothers should not do that. Is it true? How do we know? Yeah. How do we know they should threaten us with stories of hellfire and brimstone and damnation? They do. What do you get for holding the belief that mothers shouldn't do that? Feel it. Motherless? They got the good mother and you got the rotten one? Your next door neighbor's mother's better. Yeah. It's not fair. Isn't that just part of the list? So, who would you be if you didn't hold the belief that mothers should not do that to their children? Mothers should not tell those stories to their children. Who would you be if you just didn't hold the belief in the presence of your mother?
About my mother? Or about...
Just with your mother, if you didn't hold the belief that she was wrong or should not.
Well, I'm practically motherless. I've put myself in that situation. So I would be with my mother if I didn't hold the belief.
Yes, one with. One with. So, sweetheart, let's turn that around. The whole sentence, I
don't like
me
because I frighten myself with threats of eternal damnation after my death.
Yes. Isn't that as true or truer? Sometimes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so you want her to stop, you stop. Now, there is eternal damnation after death. What do you get for holding that belief?
Fear.
Eternal damnation.
Yes. Eternal damnation, yes. Now. There's eternal damnation after death. Is it true? Can you really know that it's true? No. You can't know that.
No.
What I say, it's so good on the other side of death that no one that hangs out there a while comes back to even tell the good news. They just don't bother because they know you know. They know that if you just go inside and ask, is it really true? Can you know that? That you have to smile with it. But its purpose, the purpose of holding on to that belief, that's what you want to look at. It serves a huge purpose. You get to stay scared. You get to keep validating, being validated about it. You get to hold on to there's something less than God here. That there's good and evil. You get to hold on to duality. Duality in life and death, too. So, sweetheart, let's look at the next one.
I don't like my mother because she says I'll burn in hell for eternity unless I find the Lord.
Okay. Now, you're going to burn in hell in eternity if you don't find the Lord. Can you really know that that's true?
No.
No. And from what we're learning here and starting to experience, that if I don't find the truth, it is a burning. And it feels like hell. So what we can see is your mother was right, only it's not later, it's now. We don't even have to wait, this is it.
Right.
So she was right, her timing was off.
Well, my life, when she talks to me or I get a letter or when something comes up, I feel it is hell.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes, right now. Yes. So let's turn it around.
I don't like me because I say I'll burn in hell for eternity unless I find the Lord.
Yes.
Okay.
It was you again.
In my mind, yes.
Yeah, you want her to stop, you do it.
Yeah.
And you keep writing you those letters in your mind.
I believe my mother now.
Yeah, well, not when I ask you, is it true?
Okay.
I believe my mother. Is it true? You believe your mother. Is it true?
I try not to.
I'm not hearing you believe her.
Well, I don't want to believe her.
She says there's damnation after your death.
I'm believing her. That's why I'm afraid.
So when I ask you, can you really know that there's damnation after death?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't know. So that puts you in a place where you can choose heaven or hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's equal to believe there is or isn't. One is very painful. The other is freeing. Which part of that experience is like your nature? It's always going to be the truth. The one that resonates with you is always the truth. There's damnation after death. Can you really know that that's true? Choose yes. Feel it.
Well, she is always talking about the revelations.
Turn it around.
Chapters.
I'm always thinking about revelations in the chapters.
Mm-hmm.
It's you.
Yes.
I love you. Just keep choosing damnation and hell. And revelations in the chapters is very beautiful when they're understood. It's about now, not later. It's absolutely accurate. You could take this workshop and call it Revelations. Now. This is not about later. Revelations weren't written about later. So the interpretation of Revelations is where we hurt. We believe in time. You can't know any of it. You can only know now. Oh, sweetheart, what feels like your nature when you're happy or when you're in terror? Which one is comfortable?
Happy, of course.
Yeah. So there must be something off about the other.
It's, the thought of after death is affecting me now.
Sweetheart,
am I acting correctly? Am I?
Yes,
I should be doing what my mother says.
And when you do what your mother says, how does that feel? And is it even possible?
My idea of how I should be on earth is not the extreme that she is. I believe in being good and not a bad person. I don't feel that I need to go way over to extreme that she's at. She's
Sweetheart, so far, when you reverse it, you're the extreme.
True.
She says it once, and how many times a day do you say it? Who's extreme?
Right. I'm believing her, and I'm accepting what she says.
Turn around. I'm believing me.
I'm believing me. I'm going to believe me.
I'm believing me, and I'm accepting my extremes.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at the next one.
I don't like my mother because she preaches to me in every letter and phone call.
Turned around.
I don't like me because I preach to me in every letter and phone call.
To myself in my head.
To myself in my head, yes.
I keep calling you up to scare you.
Yes.
When things are really good and good, you call you up and take it from you and scare you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's damnation. Have you had enough? That's the only question. Yeah. Yeah. You know, any damnation you could go to after this may be better.
Step up.
Yeah.
Turn that one again, lady.
Okay, director.
You could put your mother in there.
I don't like me because I preach
To my mother.
to my mother in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And continue.
In every letter and phone call.
Yes. Keep preaching about how she's wrong, how she shouldn't do it.
Okay.
Okay. Arguing with reality. And who's holding on to the phone? Let's look at the next one.
I don't like the daily news because it scares me about the end of the world.
Can you hear back there? Yeah?
I don't like the daily news because it scares me about the end of the world.
Okay. So, turned around. I don't like my mind.
I don't like my mind because I'm scaring me about my thoughts of the end of the world.
No, just straight reversal. I don't like my
I
mind.
don't like my mind because it scares me about the end of the world.
Yeah. So what do you get for holding on to the belief that there's an end to the world?
More suffering, more pain.
Yeah, it feels like the end of the world all the time.
Yes.
If the end of the world came, it would probably be a lot easier than what you're scaring yourself about the end of the world. Probably be a relief.
Okay. I am afraid of death because I will feel the burning flames of hell, in hell.
Oh my, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, sweetheart.
I am afraid of me because I will feel the burning flames in hell in my mind.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you are.
I am.
You
I
are,
am.
and you've been doing it since you were a little girl, and it may be enough. How many years?
Few.
You've been in the flaming fires of hell for how many years?
A lot.
A lot. I take me out of hell. That's my experience. I was there. There was no way out. I found the truth. I stepped out of the flaming fires of hell. That's it. I am goodness and light and truth, and I found my way out of hell. I used to burn like that.
Well, when I get a letter from my mother, I used to, when I see her writing on the envelope, I would just start crying just before I even looked at the letter. And when I get a phone call, just the sound of her voice, hello or whatever, I just automatically sink down in the hole. So now when she calls and she throws in about I'm going to be left on earth and, and all that, then just let her say what she has to say.
Like you had a choice?
And just let
I mean,
it
it's
go.
not a lot of generosity there. I mean, a dog barks, a cat meows, and she talks about hellfire and damnation. Well, here's what happens. It's like if my mother said, oh, sweetheart, the world's coming to an end, and if you don't do certain things, you're going to burn in hell. After I do this work, what I can say to her is, Mother, I fully understand that, and I appreciate your concern. And I don't tell her the part about how I've been living in burning damnation in hell all my life and found a way out. I join her. That's what love does. It joins. I say, Mother, I understand. You see, her belief system, why would I take that from her?
Right.
That's what she's got going. I mean, she may be there roasting, but I have a choice today. And if it's appealing enough, then she may ask me where I get my freedom. And either way, it's none of my business. Her freedom is her business. But until you live happily, you can't attract another way. The burning fires of hell are going to get the burning fires of hell. If I want someone to go talk to about that, I've got you. And now you may not have you anymore, and maybe I don't either to talk about those things. People would have to go to your mother to hear about them. Who would you be if you never had the belief again, ever again, that you were going to burn in hell, or even could? If you never had the belief again?
Relieved.
Yes.
Relieved.
Okay. Relieved. Now the purpose.
Pressure's off.
Yes. Now the purpose of holding the belief that they're burning fires in hell, what purpose does that serve? You get something from it.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
You get something for holding the belief that there are burning fires in hell. Are you all asking? Mm-hmm. You get something. Unhappiness, terror, guilt. You don't get to be free and many things at all.
Victim.
And when you victim.
Actually, it keeps you from feeling the inevitability of death.
Say again.
It keeps you from feeling the inevitability of death.
Yes.
I don't understand that.
It keeps you from what's going to happen. You're going to die. But if you stay wrapped up in the story, you don't have to look at that.
Well, I don't so much mind the death. The death itself, or, I'm going to die. That's what's going to happen. But it's the after the death that bothers.
Well, what I'm hearing over here, as long as you concentrate on what it is, you can't know what it's not. I mean, you don't have an even break there to even ask to get true. I love that you would bring this piece up because you are talking about so much of the world.
Yeah.
Now, this is an old childhood toy that it's time to put aside if you've had enough burning in hell.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of us have. Let's look at the next one.
I'll go on to number 2. Mother wants me to be religious.
Okay, turned around.
I want me to be religious.
Yes, and you are. You are religious about Mother is wrong. There's burning fires in hell, and you hold it as strong as any Christian I've ever seen hang on to the burning fires in hell.
Yes. Yes.
And when I see so many, the word Christians, the ones that really appeal to me don't even have this theory. Mm-hmm. They found a sweetness within themselves.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Mother wants to save my soul. I want to save my soul.
Yes. Yes. And you just did. The truth sets you free. Truth is soul. Truth is spirit. Soul. That's where you join. There's no other way. No other escape from the burning fires of hell but to step into truth. That's soul. Guide her.
Mother wants to save my soul.
You want to save Mother's soul.
I want to save Mother's soul. Well, she's perfectly happy, I think. How do I know that?
Yeah. So you can save your mother's soul. No, save your own. Save your own. It's wonderful for us to save other people's souls. That keeps us from looking here. Just save your own.
Number 3, Mother shouldn't preach at me.
Is that true?
No.
No, it's not. Because there she is.
And I'm preaching at me.
Yes.
Every time I think about her, I'm preaching at me.
Yes.
Mother shouldn't scare me. I shouldn't scare me.
Yes. Can you hear it?
Yes.
These reversals, the wants, needs, and shoulds reversed, are your prescription for happiness and health and freedom. No one else's, yours. Just yours. We say about the other what we need to hear. So, sweetheart, say that one again.
I shouldn't scare me.
You shouldn't scare you. She shouldn't scare you. You shouldn't scare you. She's not going to stop. That's hopeless. She's going to continue with whatever she's saying. Your interpretation is going to scare you. She doesn't.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah. So you shouldn't scare you with your interpretation about what she means. And when she talks about the burning fires of hell, just remember that you're an expert there. And you can say, Mother, I understand.
I wrote that down.
Yeah, good.
I didn't want to forget that.
Yeah.
For the next phone call.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Mother is righteous in her beliefs.
Turned around?
I am righteous in my beliefs.
Yes. And turned around again?
I am righteous about my beliefs about her.
Yeah, or we could say, I'm righteous in my mother's beliefs.
Okay.
You've been believing her, you thought, until you asked.
Mother is alienating me.
I don't think so. Turn it around.
I am alienating me
Yes,
from my mother.
yes. And yourself. Mothers, can mothers alienate you or anyone else? No. You're the one with the phone to your ear. You're the one interpreting what you're hearing. Just do the work.
I need Mother to leave me alone.
Hopeless.
Right.
Turn it around.
I need me to leave me alone
Yes.
in my mind.
Yes, I need my thinking to leave me alone unless I'm going to get honest about it.
I need Mother to communicate with me without telling me stories of the end of the world.
Hopeless. She loves that part. And it's bringing you home just fine. So let's turn it around.
I need to communicate with me without telling me stories of the end of the world.
Yes. Now I need to communicate with my mother
I need to communicate with my mother
without telling me.
without telling me stories of the end of the world.
Yes. Say, I understand, Mother. I understand. I understand. You could be right. I've had that experience. You could be right. And when you hang up, if you're just sick with it, good. Look forward to it. Sit down and write it out again until it's done. until you can see your enemy is the Christ, the work's not done. Period. That's it. So hopefully they're just going to keep coming back in your face so you can undo it all.
I won't ever accept my mother's preaching.
I'm willing to.
I'm willing to accept my mother's preaching.
Because you'll probably do it again. It's going to hurt. You're going to notice it's getting a little warm, like the fires of hell, like a marshmallow. And it will put you back into the work where you can get free and clear and save your soul in the moment. So I look forward to
accepting my mother's preaching.
Yeah. Okay, feedback. Pretty interesting, huh?
During Desert Storm in 1992, I was extremely fearful. I thought this was it that my mother was talking about.
Yeah.
World wars all over the world.
Yes. And all the fires going on with the oil. And so, this is the end of the world. Go back to that time. They're showing all the fires and all of it. Okay, this is the end of the world. Can you really know that?
No, I can't.
And what did you get for holding the belief?
More fright.
Yes. And who would you be without the belief? Watching the fires on television, the whole thing. Who would you be without the belief?
Just watching the news, watching the war.
Yes.
With no attachment to it.
Yes. Good. Yes, honey. Let's pass it. Where is it? Yeah, pass it from here on back. Yeah, over here at Ellen. Jerry, over here.
Right here. I just wanted to say, for somebody who had a huge story, just seemed to really hear this well. Seemed to really take it in.
Working when Katie works with us, she seems to bring out. Like, I could sit here and read this by myself and not really get a lot. But when she starts putting her input to it, makes it easier to understand.
It was really nice to watch you go from there to there.
Yeah, because ultimately you're the one doing it, and it's wonderful that we come together as friends. And because I endured, because I didn't have a choice, the burning fires of hell. Yeah, and only the truth set me free.
I just, while I'm at the mic, I just wanted to say this is a big, it was a nice piece because I didn't realize how much I have in my subconscious, but it just clicked on me that every time somebody says something like that, you're going to burn in hell. And even if it's a casual comment, I'm just listening to other people do their trip to each other. It grabs me, and it's always grabbed me. So it must be a big part of our collective unconscious, this big guilt thing. We're responsible for the end of the world, and we're all going to be... We're all going to suffer. We're going to die.
There's the world at all. There's a world at all. Can you really know that? Yeah, I don't live in a world.
But it must be a huge fear because it seems to have a lot of...
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful old myth. And it says that God is everything, but not this after death thing.
I can certainly relate to you because I come from the Deep South Bible Belt. And my belief system when I was very young, that we were very poor, but we had God.
Right.
And the rest of it was, I have two sisters that are still living who still... My one sister still writes me letters, and she's afraid that I'm going to hell.
Yes.
I write her back. I call her. I never mention anything, and if she brings it up, I just let her rattle it off.
Yes.
And I tell her I love her anyway. But I spent a couple of months with my sister, that's 4 years older than I am, who lives in San Diego this past summer. Oh, I went through a lot of stuff, but a lot of fun. I worked with just letting her be and letting her have her belief, and she's always watching her radio programs of this type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, someone's got to hold up the myth.
And
You know, it's a rough job, but somebody's got to do it. But I think I'll hold it up in me. I think I'll tune to that channel.
so before I left, and now and then we talk on the phone, she's so envious of me and my way of life and my joy and my peace. And she can't figure it out.
Yeah.
She's just totally in a mystery of how in the world I do it.
Yeah.
And I can't explain it to her. She just has to get it a little by osmosis, because I'm so happy around her, and she sees my life flowing, and she wants to know my recipe, but she hasn't really asked, so therefore I can't give it to her.
Yeah.
But it's a very big fear that they have in the South. It was
When
very deep in
people
me.
like this work, if we think someone needs the work, we need to reverse it. I need the work when I think you need the work. And when someone says, you know, I'm not doing okay here, even a stranger, if you can say, I can help you with that. And then if they're serious about undoing it, you just sit down and you just give them 4 questions and reverse it. Or you give them the Center for the Works address. We'll mail that little book out. You know, it's where the donations, that little book, it's always free. We send it all over the world. We had a woman call us the other day that just found it in one of the eastern states, just found it somewhere. She said, this is amazing. I have a corporation of only over 2,000 people. What is this? And then we had the stories just go on and on and on, but that is one way, you know. And it's sweet to have the little books just to hand to people, and if they ask. Thank you, Carolyn. Anyone over here? Hellfire and damnation thing.
I don't relate at all to hellfire and damnation. But what it brought up for me was kind of an interesting thought. I mean, everyone in this room has parents. Everybody in the world has parents. And everybody's parents pass on their beliefs, which have to be absolutely correct and true, to their children. Now, do we take the scale of justice and which group is more numerous to what the truth is? Is it by a popularity vote? And what I got clear with some things with me, thank you, is that things that my parents gave to me, like I should be responsible for my adult children's happiness and success and finances and
hopeless.
Oh, I've been doing this. I mean, I just mailed $1 million life insurance policy yesterday to my children. I said, here in case I'm driving tomorrow, here it is. It's paid. Pay the check. It's done. It's like, whose parents are right? I mean, and we all get these stories that, and they fathered us and mothered us, sperm and an egg, and that makes them, our invincible gods or our teachers. Like, we have to know everything that they say is correct and not correct. I mean, I don't think so. And I think I started looking at.
My parents are responsible for my belief systems and my problems. Is it true? No. I am. I am. And knowing that gives us what we always wanted, absolute control. And with this technology of going inside, it's over. Yeah. It's over. It's the end of suffering.
Beginning to see that and feel that.
For those that want to be free. And then there are some of us that would rather hold on to what we think we're going to get than let go of them. Like I could lose my mother's love if I don't go along with that belief. And that's where we inquire. Is it true? Can I really know that? They'll kick you out of your church. Is it true? Can you really know that? What do you get for holding on to that belief? Who would you be without it? So you take this and then all the way to the subtleties of the next that comes in. Eventually you come to know that there's no belief that's true, and you just stop bothering. You just notice one day nothing Velcros. Nothing Velcros. that you can't, that there's not one that can arise that wouldn't be anything but the beloved arising. God arising. Like the clouds pass and the rain falls. The poet speaks. It arises. There is only good. There is only love. And any time you see an exception to that, you hurt. You have just left your nature. That's how you can know that you're good. Simple. So simple. Yes, honey, let's pass it back there.
Cheryl, as I was listening to you, I thought, well, I'm a lot like you, and I was thinking, I didn't associate with my mother, but I have a lot of people I'm working with right now, and other people in my life who are very fundamentalist and would have those same kinds of beliefs. So I was thinking, I'm glad I'm not one of them, that I don't have those beliefs about hellfire and damnation and all that. So when you reversed it, it was really great for me to see that. And I looked, my writing was a lot on death, a little bit different slant. But the one thing I had here was I want death to come only at a time when I'm feeling complete with life. And
well, that's a good old belief.
What it brought up for me when you were doing yours was all the stuff I have. I thought, well, what's the payoff for that one? Well, it's all this stuff I have about, well, if I'm not complete at that, and I mean, a few of you in here all know this term of this cycle of birth and death, that whole conversation, was that I really still have that in there, you know, that if I don't live my life a certain way, that when death comes, if I am not in a certain place, then I'm going to come back, and that's the hell.
Oh,
is that I'll keep coming back here.
Oh my!
And I feel like I've been doing so much work to let go of that, and I didn't realize I still had such a hold on that.
You know,
belief.
you're not going to come back. You're back. You're back. You're back.
You're never going to go. So I'm maybe starting to see you're never really going to go. That's the
time to come back.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. You haven't come from anywhere. It's all just a belief system. Don't you notice that you take it with you everywhere you go? The story of this, the story of that, the story of this, the story of that. Everywhere you go, there you are, narrating, telling the story of life, of death, of reincarnation. The only thing that perpetuates are these belief systems. Don't you get it? These stories, these old myths. If it's seen, is that true? That mothers shouldn't scare their children? No. You know, how do we know that they should scare their children? They're doing it. And it falls away, and you're at peace, one with mother, one with everything. Now there's another way. Here's reincarnation. See, there's no time and space in that one. There was just a moment, a lifetime. The lifetime of a belief, that's all. It arose, you saw the truth, it fell away. It came to pass not to stay.
Oh my God, I just thought
Getting it? Yeah. So here's the belief. Mothers should not teach that to their children. So that, because you didn't inquire, then it gets married to. Mothers are unkind that do that. Okay, that's an example. So you just add fusion like a marriage. Okay? And that comes in to the next one that says, how could she do that? So now you have a baby. And then the baby gets married to what? Help me here. 4,000 a minute is how fast you reincarnate. 4,000 a minute from the original life that wasn't inquired on. So let's hear some. It gets married to?
I'm going to suffer my whole life about what my mother did.
Yes. Now we have a grandchild.
I'm going to be a better parent.
I'm going to be a better parent. There's a grandchild. Then the grandchild gets married.
For all the 10 years.
Now we have a great-grandchild. Now this is reincarnation. This is perpetual. This is perpetuating a belief that was a lie in the first place. And you didn't stop and inquire. And we do these at 4,000 per minute. That's what's been timed. I believe much faster than I believe all beliefs instantaneously, all of them at once. I mean, everything you ever feared comes up in that lie. But that's it. 4,000 a minute is what's been timed. And you continue to perpetuate them, to reincarnate and reincarnate. And without a belief, there's no one to reincarnate, no thing, no belief, no body, no nothing. Nothing to reincarnate. Tell the lie, you've got life. It fuses. And then it just, it's like the rabbit family. You are your own reincarnation. You build your karma. When? Now. Because you don't go to the truth that'll set you free. Which is okay too, but haven't you noticed it feels like the fire of hell?
I heard you say that before, and I never got it like I got this because I just got something, and when we're not in the belief,
And we come to this place we call home, which is just what is. That's like a rebirth. That's like, and then when we have the belief, that's like the dying, and then we are reincarnated back into who we. It's just
heaven, hell, crucifixion, resurrection, crucifixion, resurrection.
That's the hellfire and damnation.
Or
And
the other way around,
bliss.
the same. That the incarnation is this life of illusion, and the death is peace. It could be either way.
Yes.
Depends on how you
How you
Yes.
use the words, yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. So, you have lived the crucifixion hanging out there on the cross for how many years? Yes, the truth sets you free, resurrection, the death of belief. That's the only thing that can die. Okay, any more feedback? Pretty interesting piece, huh? Hellfire and damnation. What a concept.
For me, it goes back to the book of Genesis, where Adam and Eve were cast from the garden, or cast themselves from the garden, when they ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah.
Because the knowledge of good and evil, that's where duality started.
Yeah.
That's where duality. Without the knowledge of good and evil, there is no duality.
Yes.
So as soon as we eat of duality, we throw ourselves out of the garden. All of our stories are based on duality.
Yes.
There can be no story without duality.
Yes.
So it's like as soon as the story drops, we're back in the garden again. We're back in the perfection of it.
Yes.
So the only suffering always has a story attached to it.
Yes. Yeah.
So if you find yourself suffering and you can find the story and find the belief and undo that, no story puts you right back into the garden. You're right back into perfection.
Yes. Can you hear it? You want paradise? Do the work. Find the truth within you. In the moment. Yeah. So sweet. Very well said.
I have another story, but before I wanted to say it, I started to do the work with it. Before I said, well, what's my need to say this story? And I discovered, well, my need would be then I could appear somewhat smart, maybe liked, etc. So then I lost most of my need to do it.
Yeah.
But I still want to do it. It's being here reminds me of something that J.Z. Knight, who channels Ramtha, said. And Ramtha said, I guess he had quite a number of armies when he was here on this planet. Suppose this is his story. He rocked this world, and he was the best, and so were his armies. He got to a point where that wasn't enough, so he crossed across the river. He had a woman bring his food up to him on the hill, and he sat there and contemplated. And he said he used the word, I'm using the word popped through and left one life. I'm imagining for myself, this is what he did, something very similar to this. in his contemplation. I was always wondering, what do you think, my thoughts, and it's like, here we go. But by doing the 4, he just, so.
Good.
Thanks.
Good. I love that you would undo and then just speak consciously. You see, not to impress us, not to influence us, but just for your sake is the way I would interpret it. Yeah, free. Yeah. Honest speak. Honest sound. Someone else have their hand up around this piece? Yes.
I was in another seminar, and a very beautiful thought was given out, and I'd like to share it with you because it helped me at the time. It was one of the most loving thoughts I've ever encountered, and that is, not one soul will be lost. Not one soul will be lost. And I found a lot of God in that. When I get down in a jam, I remember that. So, if hellfire bothers you, it's a thought I could share with you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, there's no soul that's lost. There's only one soul. And we all know what you say is so. It assumes there's something lost in the first place. And we all know better. And what we're hearing, this duality thing, there's either the lie or truth, heaven or hell, lost, found. Separate soul, one soul.
I was listening, obviously, to different stories today, and Edgar loaned me some of the tapes. I listened to some of the tapes, and it's really staggering to me because we all have our shit. But I didn't relate to her story. I didn't relate to most of the other stories out there, but everyone held their story so strongly, like, they were so real to them. And I had my story that was real to me that most people wouldn't relate to either. So why should it be real? It's just something I've created. I've created it. I have to own it. And I created my own suffering for some reason to have the suffering. And it doesn't make any sense to keep the suffering.
That's its only purpose.
Yeah,
is to prove there's something less than God.
But it's so different than everybody else's. And if why don't they have the same story I have?
Because we don't.
Because we don't. And therefore, why is mine so special?
It's not.
I owned it, but I can give it up. It's not.
Yeah. It's just your false idol.
Yeah. Was.
Just the one that you used to worship. Yeah. We like this one. This one works. We like that one. That one works. Well, this one, that's a good one. That works. And yours? Yeah, it's been good up to now. Yeah. So who would you be without your story?
I'd be happy.
Okay, who wants to do this wonderful work? Who has not experienced the work that would like to do that? Yes. Okay. Thank you, sweetheart.
I think one of the motivations I had to come up here was because next to the fireplace is like being burning in hell.
Burning in hell. Yeah.
Had 4 things that I had written down.
Good.
The first one I wrote is that I am angry at God and my parents for my bad posture.
Okay. Now your posture is supposed to be different.
Well,
is it true?
Most people have very straight postures.
It's a wonderful story. And is it true your posture should look like ours or be different?
Well, it is what it is.
That's true. So how do we know your posture is supposed to look like this?
Because that's the way it is.
Yeah, the way it is. Oh my. I love when you do that. I love when you join reality. So, read it again the way you wrote it.
I'm angry at God and my parents for my bad posture.
God gave you bad posture. What do you get for holding that belief?
Anger and excuse to not be close to people.
Yes. Yeah, because you think we're thinking what you're thinking. Has anyone here noticed his posture? No. We don't even care. So that story has really been one to keep you busy about what you think we're thinking, so you don't have to get close to us. Be one with us.
It was a good excuse.
Yeah. And it hasn't worked, because it's a lot of work to hold up that lie. So how could you turn that around?
I'm angry at me for using my bad posture as an excuse.
Yeah. An excuse to blame God, an excuse to blame your parents, an excuse to look at everything so you don't have to be present and know yourself.
And an excuse not to like your posture as it is, or yourself as you are.
Yes, to stay separate from ourselves. Yeah, yes.
Well, my truth is that I did notice his posture.
Good.
The reason I did is because I don't like my posture.
Okay, so you would notice that like a fat person notices a fat person. Good. Yes, Edgar?
Would there be value in doing a real straight reversal on that one?
Guide him.
So read it how you wrote it, Dave.
I'm angry at God and my parents for my bad posture.
Good, and I'll just put your name on it and read it the same way. I'm angry at me.
I'm angry at me.
Exact same words.
For my bad posture.
The exact same words. Forgiving me.
I'm angry.
Whatever you wrote.
For my bad, I'm angry for creating, really. I'm angry at me for...
Read it the way you wrote it.
I'm angry at me for my bad posture.
Okay, is that the way you wrote it in the first place?
Yeah. And actually, there's two parts to that. One is the creation of bad posture, and one is the upset about the bad posture.
You created your bad posture. Is that true? Could you really know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, what do you get for holding that belief? The same exact thing.
Just upset.
Yeah. To be angry at God, to be angry at parents, to be angry at you, what's the difference?
Yeah.
You see, it just all hurts the same. So Edgar, say more.
It was like the bones are stacked this way. Okay.
Edgar's a chiropractor.
Yeah, this is my brother-in-law.
You knew that.
Edgar.
Okay.
So my bones are stacked this way. Okay.
Straight.
Your bones are stacked this way. Okay. So whose conversation is it that you have bad posture?
That's mine.
That's the whole point. Okay, you have a spine that's curved, and you're the one that's calling it bad. I've adjusted your back. That back serves you perfectly. There is no nerve interference in that back at all.
Lift weights, ski.
Right.
So except for your story, is your posture fine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you be without your story? Perfect posture.
Without my story, I'd be happy. I'd be able to be more socially interactive. I'd be able to. I am, but I'm not. I'm introverted. I have.
So when we come to you and want to include you, you keep us separate by this with a story. Yeah. So we're waiting. Let's look at the next one.
I'm angry at my mother for cheating on my father.
Mothers are not supposed to cheat on fathers. Is it true? Can you really know that?
I walked in her steps, so I can't know that. I did the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. How do I know my mother should cheat on my father? She's doing it. That's it. What do you get for holding the belief that you should not cheat on your father? What do you get for holding that belief? Feel it. All of you feel it. What do you get?
I had no mother after age 7. I mean, I had, she was there, but until she died last year, I had no mother.
So you become motherless.
I mean, she was there. I took care of her.
In your mind, you become motherless.
Yeah, emotionally, it was just I couldn't.
You couldn't deal with it because you didn't know how to say, how do I know she should? She did.
Yeah.
And so you become motherless, and when she enters your presence,
it's cold. I mean, there was no. I gave her a hug, but it was.
Cold.
It wasn't. There was no. There was no.
You were separate, and you gave her the look. And when she said something, you gave her that sound. That's what you got, motherless. And when you go into this, when you're at home alone, really go into it and see how holding on to a belief can cost even a young, innocent child their mother. Just simply by holding a belief that's not true. Who would you be? And close your eyes, sweetheart. And you're how old?
7.
Who would you be, little boy, in the presence of your mother, if you did not hold the belief that mothers should not cheat on fathers? If you just didn't hold that belief.
I'd be hugged by her, and I'd hug her back, and I'd be warm, I'd be loving with her.
Yes.
And I could, and since that wouldn't be my business, I could also have a relationship with my father.
Yes.
Which I created the same thing.
Yes. Same thing. And you can look at your story to see how you did that too and let that unfold.
I never asked her.
No, you never asked her, so you don't even know that it was true.
No, I knew it happened, but
can you know that?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
That happened. There's no question. But but the reasons why and the blame and all that separation, I never asked. If I asked,
then you would have to step out of specialness, out of the wounded one, the victim one, the one that can get attention from each of them.
Yeah, I would. If I would have asked, I would have learned something about life and could have forgiven and could have had 2 parents.
Yes. Yes. So what do you get for holding on to the belief? Orphaned.
Yeah, just separated from my parents.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask. I didn't inquire the reasons.
So let's turn that one around.
I'm angry at me for my mother's cheating on my father.
For me cheating on my mother.
For me cheating on my mother, but not talking to her about it.
Yes. That's how you cheated on her and therefore yourself.
And like you say, one lie, one belief perpetuates child, grandchild. I did the same thing to my wife.
Yes, you would have to.
I did, and my son and my daughter didn't speak to me for years. Now they have, but for years.
Yes. Yes. So read it the way you wrote it again.
I just realized something. I just realized something. She gets even sicker than that. I cheated on my wife, and my mother was in Florida in her condominium in Virginia, in her bed, the same bed that she shared with my father.
Yeah.
And my wife caught me at that.
Perfect.
It was like
Perfect.
And when
It's all your story.
It's all my story. I created it.
Yeah.
I created the whole.
Yeah, from 7 years old, and then you recreate it, and it ends here.
I didn't think about that part.
So read it the way you wrote it originally.
I'm angry at my mother for cheating on my father.
No, I'm angry at me.
I'm angry at me for cheating on me.
On my, yes.
On me.
And again, angry at me.
I'm angry at me
for cheating on my father.
For cheating on my father.
Yes, by not asking, inquiring. I'm angry at me for cheating on my wife. And each time, yes, it was you were cheating on. It was you. Wonderful you. Just not knowing how to stop. We're so totally innocent. We're just innocent. We would stop if we could. We don't know how. A 7-year-old doesn't know how, and we're still 7.
And it was like a game. I wasn't present. It was like for some people who take drugs. I wasn't. Like
you were keeping your story alive at whatever cost.
Yeah. Validating it.
Validating it. Let's look at the next one.
I'm angry at God for aging my body.
Turned around.
I'm angry at me for aging my body. Actually, I'm really angry at my mind because I'm really angry at my mind. I'm getting clear today. I'm angry at my mind for the belief that my body is aging. I mean,
at all, young or old.
Yeah.
I'm angry at me for aging my body in my mind.
In my mind.
My goodness. If you want to see who you're not, look in the mirror. You look in the mirror and then you tell the story about what that is, and you're old. Look who the storyteller is it. I mean, you'll do anything to keep your story alive. Welcome to old age.
I realized just the other day, I mean, when I actually looked in the mirror and I thought I looked good. And I did some videotaping and I looked at playback of the videotape and I said, oh my God, was that really me? It looked... I was upset in a way when I looked back at it. And,
so your story about what you see in the video and your story about what we're going to see in the video is how you age it.
Yeah.
Good.
And the last one I wrote was...
you know, they did a video of me, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and people would say, oh my God, you know, do yourself a favor, don't let anyone see that. And I thought it was the most precious, beautiful thing I'd ever seen, but it could be anyone in it. It wasn't personal. So without beliefs, you know, without those beliefs, you may look at that video again and fall in love.
Actually, 2 people have seen it. They said it was the best video they've seen.
Yeah, and you're the last to know, so take another look.
Yes. The last thing I wrote was, I'm angry at God for making me so critical that I reject others and will live and die in isolation.
Okay. Turned around.
I'm angry at me for making me so critical that I reject others and that I'll live and die in isolation.
Yes.
I've got.
You started at 7. You're really good about that.
Yeah, I got. This one's too fat. This one's too tall.
Yeah, that's perfect. You know, the only thing is, none of it's true. We're not too tall. We're not too short. We're not too fat. We're not too thin. Except for your story, we're perfect. So there's another reversal there. I'm angry at me.
I'm angry at me for making
me
so critical
of me.
Critical of me that I reject others.
That I reject me.
I reject it. I'm angry at me for making me so critical of me that I reject me. And will live and die in isolation.
Yes.
Reject me. Right.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. You could give it up now and let someone else do that job.
Yeah.
Who'd you be without your story? Who'd you be without the story of we're too fat and we're too thin and your back is this and your posture and that one's too tall and that one's too short and that one's too old and you're too... Who would you be without your story?
I'd be intimate with more people, more sociable, more
Do you love that
peace.
guy? Yeah. 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 So let's look at the twosies. Let's look at number 2.
That was... Oh, I want a straight back.
Okay, what for? Oh, well. So much for that.
Works fine as it is. I wanted to end my judgments on faithfulness.
Well, you know, it's possible you just did.
I did. I mean, that's...
You know, it's just not holding for you anymore.
Yeah. People have to be true to themselves.
People should be faithful. Turn around. I should be faithful.
I should be faithful to myself.
Yes.
I should be faithful to what I feel is true to me.
Yes. And what's true is, whether I'm faithful or not is none of your business. And when you think it is, you become motherless, fatherless, friendless. Stay in your business. You think I should be faithful? Turn it around. You live it.
Within myself.
Yes.
Third, I want a more youthful body.
What for? What's a more youthful body going to get you? You want something. You don't want a youthful body. You want a youthful body because you want something. What is it? All of you go inside. What is it you want?
A youthful companion.
A youthful companion. Yeah. What for?
For the rush, for the...
And you want the rush, what for?
To feel good.
Okay, so you can drop all of that and just feel good.
A lot simpler.
This is what's meant by instantaneous manifestation. You want it all, you get it from here.
I can give myself peace and joy.
Look at the truth.
And the last one I wrote was I wanted an intimate, joyous, and loving relationship with an attractive woman who feels the same way about me.
Turn it around.
I want an intimate, joyous, and loving relationship
with myself.
With myself.
Keep reading.
Who feels the same way about me.
Yeah. So I can feel the same way about me that I think I would about her. You just found your ultimate companion was you.
Yeah, actually it was all the time. I never knew that. I never accepted. I never always looked for it out there.
Yeah.
Business, relationships, and everything. I always looked for it out there.
Well, it's wonderful you've noticed that it never worked.
Yeah, no, I never did.
Yeah. Look at the next one.
That's why I didn't do that part.
Good. Feedback.
I wish you could see your video now.
I'm going to take a look at it.
You just look different. It's amazing how fast the years fall off when the story falls off. This is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
The years are a function of the story. And the other thing about the old body, forget it. There's a little kid. Roxanne's son is running around here somewhere. He must be 3 years old. His body's exactly the same age as yours. The cells replicate themselves every 7 to 11 months.
I teach
His body's the same age as yours.
I teach this shit. I've written a book on that stuff.
Right.
You know.
So what's the part that's old?
You know,
So what's the part that's old?
On this stuff.
Right.
I never, you know.
So if the cells in your body are the same age as 3-year-old Chase out there, what's the part that's old?
My story.
And that's all that's old.
I teach this stuff. I've written books of this stuff.
Yes, you have. I've read your books.
This is the first time I realized. This. Thank you. I mean, outside of my story, the story got in the way.
You know, we only lecture and write what we need to hear.
But I was blind to it.
Yeah.
Blind.
Oh, sweetheart, welcome to the work.
Thank you.
You go inside very well. It's really so fine to be with you and for us to experience that. I can write about it and know it, but until I experience it, I want that experience. That's it.
It's staggering because I got in front of a room of 500, 1,000 people, whatever, and I never related it back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was for everyone else but you?
Excuse me?
It was for everyone else?
No, the
really
health
think
aspects.
We know it. We wrote it.
No, the health aspects of it, but I never linked it to the fact of the concept of aging. I mean, all of our cells change, perpetually change. We're not the same person. I go up in front of a room with 1,000 people and I say, you're not the same person that was in your seat last year. And it never hit home. The way this little kid out there is the same age as I.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, little guy. Yeah, we begin now. Yeah. We truly are ageless. Now we can understand from experience what that means. But without the experience, it's just another theory. Okay, any more feedback?
I noticed that when you reread it, you left out the part about an attractive woman. And I just wanted to notice that, and have you reflect that when you drop your story, you became attractive, obviously, to all of us. Your friend mirrored that to you, so that not just your companion is yourself, but your attractive companion is yourself. And there's a lot of other turnarounds about attractive as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any other feedback? Yes.
The word that came to me was the changing the word unmerciful to mercy. And I realized, in all of these stories, when you hear, one is one's own worst enemy, I mean, how these statements that you hear for a lifetime, I see words as empowering and disempowering. The same, and hearing a story like today for me, I mean, I saw and experienced the unmerciful in myself.
Yes.
And that's why I couldn't go on before.
Yes.
I had to stop.
Yes.
It was too painful.
Yes. Yes, sweetheart. Yes. Everything I called you, I was. Everything I found unforgivable in you, it was me. Everything. Everything I find unacceptable in you is simply me. Everything. No exception. No exception. So far today, we haven't observed one exception to that. This work is absolutely accurate. And I love that you would give you that space to move away for a moment and catch your breath and come back. Kindness, mercy. Yes.
Let me just say one thing quickly. I wanted to thank you for doing this today, because one of the things that came out of it was you keep yourself from relating to other people by whatever the stories that you tell yourself. And I've been doing that this last week, and it's been very strong. It's like I find a reason to be depressed, and then I can pull myself away from everybody, and then I can just sit in the corner and not want to relate with anybody. And I'm just beginning to let go of it. Just coming here, it's like there is a... it feels right to let go. It feels better to just be with people and be here than to... Because even when I walked in, I kind of just wanted to sit in the corner and didn't want to participate. You said hi and I didn't like, and I said hi and just walked away, kind of thing. And I don't know what all the beliefs are. You know, you've identified the 7-year-old belief or whatever. But I just wanted to thank you. It's like, okay, this is possible. We can all do this. And it's always what I'm hearing is it's always a choice. It's like, why do you want somebody attractive so that I can feel good? Well, just feel good. And that release, you know, from the laughter also was a release that, well, maybe I can just feel good.
And the belief I need someone attractive to feel good is the lie.
Creates a lot of stress. Created a lot of stress in my life.
Yeah, and a lot of swimming.
Now I could just enjoy the water.
Yes, and the conscious swimming. The swimming doesn't lessen or anything unless it does, but the enjoyment of the present swimming, rather than swimming with a motive. Yeah. What? Yes, honey.
Have the mic.
Here.
Oh, okay. When I was 6 years old, something happened with me and my mom, and I decided that she wasn't my mom anymore, and it was 49 years ago. And during the work, it's like I saw the truth. It was my belief. And it's like now when I look back in my childhood, I see only the good things she did. And seeing you do the work, it's like a miracle happens with this work.
Who would I be without the beliefs? One with Mother. Dead or alive? Because I'm one with myself.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. I don't like death because it is totally unknown. I can't stand it. I have no control over it. My friend Anne, who has cancer, might be dying. She can't be my friend anymore if she dies.
Yes.
My parents are aging and dying on me.
Yes.
So much of me is dying every day, and I have no control over it. I don't understand it, and it scares the shit out of me. It's not something that's manageable. I just can't deal with it and want to run away. It's this thing that I don't understand, and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Pretty well sums it up, huh? Yeah. Yeah. She does that very well. She's our mind. So, sweetheart, read the first sentence again.
I don't like that because it's totally unknown.
Put it in the microphone, sweetheart.
I don't like death because it's totally unknown.
Is that true? Not to you. You have all these concepts about it. You meaning it's not personal. We have all these concepts about death. We heard some of them yesterday.
Do anything about it?
Yes. That's the good news.
But that's what scares me the most.
And that's the good news. You're supposed to do something about it. Is it true? There's a lot of confusion in the world about that. We're supposed to do something about death. Is it true? What do you get for holding the belief that there's something to do about death?
I know I can't do anything about death. That's why I hate it.
So, Ruby, what do you get for holding the belief that you're supposed to be able to do something about death? Feel it. This is what you're experiencing. Hopelessness. Fear.
I keep on thinking there's something that I can do.
And read your last sentence again.
I can't do anything about it.
Right. And again, that's the good news. There's only one thing we can do about it. Step into reality. Step into reality. Anne is supposed to stay here with us. Can you really know that?
No, I don't know.
No.
I don't know whether she's going to go or not.
It's for your highest good and happiness that she stay alive and be our friend. Can you know that?
For whose highest good?
Yours. And the world.
No.
You can't know that. Yeah, and to think that she should stay is how you hurt you. It's like your plan, anytime you come in with your plan, it's going to hurt. What do you get for holding the belief that she should live? We're getting a picture of it from you now.
Not even that I think she should live or I think my parents should live. It's just that I don't want them to die.
I hear you. And they're dying.
What I'm most afraid of is that I die.
Yes. Yes, they put you in touch with your own mortality, their death. Yes.
And that's what's so confusing for me, because I see myself changing so much every day now.
Yes.
And I see so much of me dying.
Yes.
And a lot of it is my ego dying. It's like you said, I'm in that space of peace so much now.
Yes.
And it's so scary because it's like I think if I keep on going into this space of presence, then I'll just end up nothing.
Yes. Yes, this is the good news.
End up being a big zero. It's like there's nothing there anymore.
It would be terrible to be a big zero. Can you really know that? All of you go in and ask. It would be terrible to be nothing. Can you really know that? It works from here perfectly. This is what you get for holding the belief you would end up nothing. I always invite people to make friends with mediocrity. It's called balance. Sweetheart, who would you be if you did not ever hold the belief, if it never appeared that there was such a thing as death at all? If it never arose?
That death never arose?
Yes. The belief of death never arose in you. Who or what would you be in the presence of your parents and your friend Anne? If it never arose. When I'm with Anne, it never enters. It doesn't enter except as a joke. If at all.
I'd be strong.
Yes, you'd be real. You would be wholly with Anne, wholly with your parents. And then the belief of death comes in, which I hear on your last line. You can't do anything about it except go into the feeling of, we could say the effect of, what your beliefs around that are. And that's the Velcroing. My friend Anne has cancer, and she could die. And then it velcros to the next and the next and the next. You remember the monkey bars? Those of you who have seen me do the monkey bars? My friend Ann could die. It's like a child on the playground. And then the next one goes to, oh, you know, it's not fair. Oh, I don't have any control over it. She won't be here for me. I'm going to die too. And it goes on and on at 4,000 a minute. My friend Ann is going to die. Can I really know that? What do I get for holding the belief? I'm not with her now. I'm not one with her now. I'm not present with her now. That's what I get. She's going to die. Can I really know it? There's such a thing as death. Can I really know that? It's not my experience. You see, my husband goes down to the store. For all I know, he's dead. But I'm not playing that story. I'm playing the story about how he's going to bring the apple back to the house. You see, I like that story. I can walk on my legs when I stand up. You see, so I'm just playing a story that about how I'm going to get something. Good, it's an apple. So then I would play the stories about death. What do I get when I hold the belief that he's dead? Well, I get to look like these tears and this hopelessness. Story. So he's coming home with an apple. Can I really know that? Well, he said he was. And can I really know he's coming home with an apple? No. There's such a thing as death. Can I really know that? No. Apple, death. What's the difference? One scares you, one doesn't. And I'm not asking you to switch stories. Either way, I've surrendered the apple, I've surrendered death. None of it my business. This is my business. This. And being here with you. That's everything. What happens is when we get real, you could die, Ruby. And it's the same as an apple. You're coming back with an apple, or you're not coming back. I love you. That's it. Without the projection, I'm with you. Always. That's friendship. I don't put you in a coffin, and I don't put you with an apple in your hand. I love me that much. I stay real. I can't know. And that's the bottom line. And when you think and that's the last thing on your number one. Let's look at your number two.
I don't want death to be controlling my life. I want it to go away and stop changing everything. I want it to stop scaring me and putting me in fear. I don't want it in my life anymore.
Okay. So put the word beliefs on that. I want my beliefs.
I don't want my beliefs to be controlling my life.
Yes, death isn't controlling your life. Your beliefs are controlling your life. And it's going to continue to control your life until, and this isn't personal with Ruby, it's us, they're going to continue to control your life until you stop to inquire and get real. You are your freedom. You are your own salvation. That's the way that is. Guess what? You're it. I love when people die so you can get this. And the closer they are to you, the better. Don't you get it yet? Don't you get it?
Katie,
yeah.
Mike.
Mm-hmm.
What if Paul didn't come home from the store?
Mm-hmm.
Would you, there's a void there maybe? I mean...
Well, I can be real, or I can go into illusion land. And if I went into illusion land, I would bring me out of the illusion with my integrity. Oh my God, he's an hour late. Something terrible happened. Can I know that? That's an old myth. It's an old song. So can I really know something terrible's happened? No. And now I'm back in the present. Whose business is my husband? He is his business. His business. And I might have the thought to go look for him. And I would do that and notice the beautiful day. Or I might have it might come to me to call the police to ask. I would call them and I would have a wonderful day. And then they could say he is dead. And if I go into a story about that, I heaven me or hell me. If I hell me, like, oh my God, he's gone. Oh, he's gone forever. He's dead. He's gone forever. Can I really know that? Can I really know that that's true? What do I get for holding the belief? I'm not one with him. That's what I get. I just got a separation. I just got two instead of he and I one. When I put him in the grave in my mind, I have just put me in the grave.
That's a big one.
Yeah. No one dies but me here. Everything else is a metaphor for that, Ellen.
Would you feel Paul died? Wait. Come on, your left. Right. If Paul didn't come home from the store, he died. Would grief arise and pass, or would there be no grief?
It would do what it does. Not my business. People would say, oh, you're crying, you're grieving. Yes. Well, why are you singing such a happy song? You were sad 10 minutes ago. Because I am. Not my business.
I had an experience a couple of weeks ago taking care of my mother-in-law, and she had just been in the hospital with a near-death type of experience. And I was doing fine undoing, and then one night she died in my mind while I was in the other room. I cried. I called my husband. I wept. I was afraid to go look at the body. As far as I was concerned, I had killed her in my mind. And I got to see myself killing her, having her die, experiencing everything that would go with the fact that she died under my watch. And I got to see that it was just my mind.
Yeah. Just a movie that you weren't connected to anymore.
But all the feelings, all the emotions, all the sorrow, all the fear, everything that came up around, she died in the other room and I was here. And it was all
this. Okay, Ruby Love, let's look at the next. That was one sentence. Now the next sentence the same way. Read it the next sentence the way you wrote it.
I want my beliefs to go away and stop changing everything?
Yes. Death doesn't do that. Your beliefs do. Your beliefs about death do that. And the next one?
I want my beliefs to stop scaring me and putting me in fear.
Yes, death never scared anyone. Our beliefs about death are scaring us to death. You think you know something? You are your discomfort. Inquire, be free. And the next sentence, can you see how this is vigilance? Staying real, staying truthful, staying in truth takes vigilance at first. And then eventually this work is like a virus, as you know, it just undoes you. And then we come together for some of the ones that we're really Velcroed to. And death is a good one.
I think I just end up feeling so much sadness mostly about the part of me that's dying.
Yeah.
That when I get into that sadness, then all the thought starts coming in.
Yeah. Velcroing. One to the next to the next. And to stop that train, you just sit, get quiet, inquire. Do the work. The next sentence.
Then I don't want my beliefs in my life anymore.
Yeah. It's not death you want out of your life. It's nothing. It's your belief about death you want out of your life. And the only way, in my experience, beliefs, untruths, get out of my mind is when I can see the dishonesty of it. Because the internal lie is my only discomfort. Death should just cease to exist. Is it true? No. I think, to use the term, I think nature, God, has a better plan than I do. You know, I just look at this and I know that it's true. And death is the same. It's the same. And when I can come to know that, I'm resurrected. I am this. Beauty. Integrity. Full integrity. I love our nature. That's why no matter where you go internally, I go with you. I know your nature. And I know you're always safe. And we come together as friends so we can come to know the same thing. Let's look at the next one.
But then it goes to 3.
Good.
That shouldn't be happening to me and the people I love in my life.
Let's just hold a minute. Can you hear in the back of the room? Great.
It shouldn't be doing this and screwing up my life. It shouldn't be in my life at all.
Okay, turned around. I shouldn't.
My beliefs shouldn't be happening to me.
No, I shouldn't.
I shouldn't be happening to me?
Yes, because you are your beliefs. We heard it from Claudia. You know, I am the story until I'm aware. So I'm doing this to me as long as I'm not stopping to inquire to know the truth of my discomfort. I am my discomfort. And when I'm hurting, I'm not inquiring. So I can hurt as long as I want, and I can stop hurting anytime I want. I just sit down and do the work and get honest. So let's look at the next sentence.
I shouldn't be happening to me and the people I love in my life.
Yes, in my mind. You're killing us off. I mean, we're right here in front of your face, and you're killing us off with a story about cancer and dying and old age. You're killing us off, and we're here with you. Wholly, totally, right here in front of your face, or over the telephone. And except for your thinking, we're perfectly well, thank you. And even when we don't think so, can you hold the truth? If you can hold the truth in your presence, we can't even be sick. We can't even buy that in your presence. I mean, who could be sick in my presence? It's not a possibility. There's only compassion, joining. I remember the world of death.
You remember the world of death?
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's look at the next one.
I shouldn't be doing this and screwing up my life.
How do we know you should be doing it? You're doing it. Wonderful you would screw up your life so that you can know the difference between the pain of that and the freedom of truth. Because of the pain, you have a choice. And pain is nothing more than the experience of being in an illusion, being, we could say, in hell, not paradise, so that you can bring you from hell to heaven and know your nature and to be the possibility and then to be freedom its very self. You all want power. You've done everything for power and money and control. This is it. Internally, that's where it is. Truth, that's the power. Okay, sweetheart, the next one, the way you wrote it.
I wrote, it shouldn't be in my life at all. Just reverse.
Okay, I would say my dishonest thinking.
Shouldn't be in my dishonest thinking. My beliefs shouldn't be in my life at all.
Yes, without being inquired of. They're children coming up to play. They're misguided. Be compassionate. Be gentle. Join them. Sit down. My friend could die. And then, there's self-talk. Like, you feel it. What do you get for holding the belief that your friend could die? Be there with the belief that's arisen. With the child, the terrified child from the centuries that arises. My friend could die. Sweetheart, is it true? Can you really know that? What do you get for holding that belief? Who would you be without it? Free. The belief arising is nothing more than just a sweet child that wants to be heard. Just wants to be heard. There's only love. There are no beliefs that are an enemy. Haven't you noticed that you can't ward them off with war or by pretending they're not there, by reaching out for an outside source to crowd them out, by lying to yourself to keep them from surfacing, by meditating them down, by positive affirmationing them down. Here they come. I love when they do that. They're going to continue to do that. They have throughout all of the centuries. They arise in your care to be heard and understood finally. Is that love? And that's what we're doing, Ruby. We're coming to understand what it is that arises in you that would keep you from your nature. And to join with it and be sweet with it. And you do that very well. Let's look at the next one.
Susan wants to come in. Death is a terrible thing.
Good morning, honey.
It ravages and has no mercy. Death fulfills no good purpose. Death changes everything. It hurts a lot of people and messes up their lives.
Is that a good one? That's it. That's an old thing. We keep resurrecting it. Ruby tells me that, and I say, oh, yes, it's a terrible thing. Oh, it's a terrible thing. Because we don't know how else to join. And what we're doing is perpetrating that there's something less than love here, something less than goodness here. So, sweetheart, let's put my thinking, my untrue thinking.
My untrue thinking is a terrible thing. It ravages and has no mercy. My untrue thinking fulfills no good purpose. My untrue thinking changes everything and hurts a lot of people and messes up my life.
Yes. Isn't that truer? Death doesn't do that. Your beliefs about death do that. Death is just a gentle thing. You know, when a tree goes dormant, we don't grieve. We say, oh, it's winter. Your beliefs about death are killing you. Inquire the truth about your beliefs about death in the way that we're doing it here. And your dying ceases. And the way your dying ceases is you just come to know it's none of your business. You just can't find an interest in it. That's how I say that I can't die and that I don't die, and it's not within me. And I can be on my deathbed and the doctor can say she's got 5 more minutes, and he can believe that if he wants to. But I am not occupied with that. That's not my business. Life is my business. Being with the doctor is my business. Being with my family members. And if there's no one there, being is my business. How do I know I'm being? Oh, it's just the thing in front of me to love. Haven't you noticed there's nothing else in existence? And then your thinking is the way that you die away from that existence. You go into the story so you don't have to experience what is existence. The sweetness of that, the reality of that. We'd rather go into our stories than experience reality. For one thing, we could say there is no reality. There's only your story about movement and what you call sound. Other than that, you know, there is no reality. There's only your story. So what we do in this work, it takes care of form, the material world, what we call reality. Hi, honey. Dougie.
I love that.
I love that you love that. Don't we join in everything? Okay, sweetheart, let's look at the next. And if I'm not present, I can't be simultaneously all one. I miss my husband going through the window. And I miss you, and it's all one, the same. I don't move from you to there. I'm present because there's no beliefs to move me from the all that is. Okay, sweetheart.
I need death to leave me and the people I care for. I need death to not be in my life. I need death to be something I understand.
Okay, so what would you put there, Ruby, love?
I need my beliefs to leave me and the people I care for. I need my untruth beliefs to not be in my life. I don't know how to turn around this one. I need death to be something I understand.
I need my mind to be something I understand. That's my freedom. I understand my mind. It's so sweet and funny and wonderful and misguided when it's not present in truth. And it lets me know immediately because there's a feeling that goes with that. It says, sweetheart, check out your mind. Then I check out my mind, and the feeling is resonance again.
I think for me, I need truth to be something I understand.
Good.
Because that's what I try to do all the time, understand my mind.
Yes.
And that doesn't actually work for me because then I go, what's going on? And
so truth.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's truth. Yeah. I need truth to be something I understand.
Yes. And when you can understand truth, you come to adore it because your name is truth. That's the mother and the father and the friend you've been waiting for. The others are just metaphors that come to pass not to stay until you can have that one. We're going to die until you can see that your mother, father, and friend are truth. That's it. That's the ultimate. It's inside of you. And it's always there. It is you. Oh, Ruby love.
I just have to be with my fears then.
Your fears are nothing more than a lack of integrity. That's all. No mystery. Write them down. Put your integrity in there and be free. And then notice how they just don't arise anymore. And if they do, they've encountered a friend. and it's peace.
You know, but my fear seems to be afraid of the peace. That's just lack of integrity again.
It would just be another belief. And you would find it.
Okay.
And undo it.
It's another belief to work on then.
Yeah. That's all there is. Okay, the next one.
I actually didn't have anything for number 6 because I realized there wasn't really anything I was not willing not to do.
Yes. Well, I'm not willing to be comfortable with my friend Anne dying.
No, actually, I am willing.
Good.
I am willing to be comfortable with my friend dying. I'm less comfortable with myself dying.
Okay. Okay. So I'm willing. It's a big one. Are all of you doing it?
I'm willing to be comfortable with.
What about my beliefs about me dying?
I'm willing to be comfortable with my beliefs about that.
About me dying?
About me dying.
Yes.
I'm willing to be comfortable with my beliefs about the fact that I can die.
Yes.
And I am also willing to be comfortable with my dying.
Yes. I look forward to my dying. I mean, this is too painful. There's no pain in dying. This is the pain. Trying to stay alive is the death. You see, we can only project what we experience. We think it's going to be this agony on the other side of death. Or we think it's going to be this agony as we're dying. But no, it's just this agony now.
I'm looking forward to my dying.
Good.
Looking forward to my dying.
Yeah.
Looking forward to my death.
Yeah. 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 That's what's so sweet about it. You take that step, you become willing. We come to see that the only dying, the only death and dying is this suffering and the untrue beliefs we experience without inquiring. The only thing that can die is an erroneous belief because it doesn't exist in the first place. You see, to see what doesn't exist and never existed in the first place, which is a lie, to know the truth of that, one by one by one. There are words for it, like forgiveness, self-realization, awake. So we just continue to play, Ruby. I love the sweet work you did this morning. Very powerful. Is there anyone here that could not do that last number 6? Yeah?
This morning I said, would somebody just shoot me?
That's what we're doing. We're shooting ourselves, belief by belief by belief. Yeah. So you came to the shooting match. Welcome. Yeah, we're shooting down what never existed in the first place. The illusion, the lie, as it arises one by one by one.
Which I am very willing. I'm very willing to allow myself to die.
Yes, because this is too painful. The resistance is too painful. That is the death.
Yeah. That really is my truth, that I'm very willing. And now I realize when I feel like I want to die, it's really because I want my thoughts and all those things that drive myself crazy to die.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm very willing.
There's nothing else to die, is there, Ruby? Not in reality, because it's all you know. It's all any of us know. We're getting real here.
Katie, could you talk a little bit more about fear's lack of integrity?
Yes, fear is lack of integrity. The way that you know it is when you're in a lie, you experience inside of you the effect that feels uncomfortable. Non-resonance, not your nature. So when you inquire the belief and you get honest about it, like my friend should live, is it true? Can I really know that? No, I can't. So what do I get for holding the belief? You experience the non-resonance of it. Who would I be without it? And if you're really doing this at the level that we saw Ruby Love do it, that you really own your truth, your truth, not ours, that one inside of you. We saw it done just so sweetly here. That's how it's done. Then we notice that the feeling changes. And nothing happened except you saw what you thought was true as not. Is that how that's how it's done? Rocky, where's Roxanne? Someone says not. Yeah. Life is simple. Life is simple. Until you lose your integrity, and then it hurts your internal integrity. And a feeling will simply let you know. It's just the voice that says, sweetheart, take a look. Get honest. Isn't that simple? And a lot of us can't do it in our minds. We do it on paper. So that we take the mind and bring it into the material world. Bring it into the density. You think you're a body. It has to take on a form like a pencil and paper, writing, the written word. Very powerful. Where it can't flip around and move, or you can't mess with it. And you inquire like a child. Just inquire like a child. My friend should not die. Is it true? Is it really true?
Ruby, it was so strange the moment you got up there and started to talk about your number one.
Can you hear her back there?
No. The moment that you sat in the chair and started to talk about your number one and feel your emotions, and I was observing you, feeling your emotions come up, I looked at you and I thought, what a wonderful actress. And I saw that you were acting, because I knew that you knew the truth. I knew that you knew that there was no death. And it was like you were acting out this for us so that we could hear it. And I had a similar, when I was here over the New Year, I had a similar experience of sitting there and starting to talk about my stuff and my story about my boyfriend and getting into my emotions rising. And I suddenly caught myself acting it all. And this was a different experience because I was seeing you acting it and knowing that you really knew the truth, that there is no death. And I thought you acted it wonderfully.
If you turn that all around, you've got it. Yes. We can only project ourselves. That's how we keep these alive. I project my insanity onto you, and I project my clarity onto you.
Yeah, what you said is when I remember when I was a kid, we had to go to funerals when someone in the village died, and I never saw a problem. And I was like, why are they all crying? And what is, I couldn't feel nothing.
You had nothing to project onto them.
Yeah, and
Nothing
then
around
you look a little sad in order to fit in. That's what the acting is. But deep down you knew that there is no problem, and I still have that knowing that there is no problem.
Yeah.
And sometimes I act in order to fit in.
Yeah. I just, I thought, I wish you'd just stand up and let him see that face. That sweet face.
My grandmothers were the most significant experience of death for me, and they were two very different experiences. My first one died very unexpectedly from E. coli, and it was just a couple days. And I just remember a lot of drama, a lot of grieving, a lot of incompletion. And my other grandmother, who I felt very connected with, I happened to have dinner with her the night that she died, and I went to sleep. I had never felt so much peace in my life, and she died in her sleep that evening. And I can't help but think that I felt her surrender. And I was sitting here listening to Ruby, and I was thinking about my other grandmother and what was all the push and pull about. And when you did the number 6 about what you're not willing, and I realized that I felt like I had lost my opportunity to have the connection with her. And when Ruby said, when you did your number 6, I realized what I'm not willing to do is to die without returning to my love for my grandmother. And it's like I've never let that in. There's something there that I just never let in. I always at bay with her from ever since I can ever remember. And there's like this truth that wants to unfold. The truth that I really do love her.
Yeah. 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 Yes. That would be wonderful work to do, wouldn't it? You just write on your grandmother. And you know what we say here? Don't be spiritual. Don't be loving. Just write it down. Be petty. We write all the things about grandmother. We inquire. We turn it around, and we get this completion and this love and this understanding. You see. So simple. It's amazing to me that all of these generations we've kept judging away from us, tried to keep judging away from us. And we just kept going, no, don't judge, bad. And it turned out to be our greatest tool. It's what we do best. It's obvious. Now that we know what to do with it, to judge, walk through life. Every time you judge, you begin to connect it with joy. Good, I found something to judge. Inquire, turn it around. And then you start missing judgment. You just become one with everything. And I just can't invite you enough. Do what you do best, judge. Judge. Free, out of the straitjacket. Inquire and turn it around. Know yourself.
Oh, because I wanted something about my grandmother came up. My grandmother was very childlike all the way to the end of her life. She never did learn to speak English. And we were really close. I lived with her for a couple of years. And So at the end of her life, when she had Alzheimer's and she supposedly was crazy and not with it, and she was in Washington and I was in California, she came to me and said that she wanted my help to die. And I told her I would hold her hand. And the next day she died. And it put me into some joyous, childlike connection and belief out of the box, and into a lot of trouble with my mother when I tried to tell her about it. But she actually did come to me.
You're saying she shouldn't die, and I can see how that's not true, but I can't see how I don't want him to die. I mean, how is that not true?
Well, you do want him to not die.
Right.
Yeah, good. And he's going to die. I mean, you can want all you want. So my reality is to join reality. I am that. So why would I bother not wanting him to die when I could just be that I am, one with him, rather than separate from?
So if he's gone, and the grief and the missing him and stuff, it's just...
It's residue from you not joining with reality. Like you're wanting not reality. Your wanting not reality is going to come back on you until you join it. You and God are one. Reality and God are synonymous. There's another way of saying it, the direct route. If you had this, you can all go home, done, you're cooked. God is everything. It's not God is everything, except, but not the part where my friend dies, or my husband or wife dies. No, God is everything. God is life. God is death. God is living. God is dying. God is all of it. God is everything. Everything. No exception. That's the direct route. And if you don't have that one, the air, the walls, the ceiling, the sky, everything, that's the body of God. God is everything. The dying, the suffering. And there is no suffering. And when you can really know that, you can't see suffering either. Just another story. But if you can't do the direct route, sometimes write it down and inquire, and it'll put you right back into that direct channel. Consciousness, reality.
Kitty, isn't what you just said just another story as well? I mean, how do we know that that's true?
You can't. You can try it and see if it works for you.
I mean, that's been my experience. And then when we talk about beliefs and we talk about being with people and their beliefs around dying and death and aging, and I work with people all the time with those issues, and they seem to like what they believe. They're attached to that, and so when I offer a different reality, sometimes it's accepted and sometimes it's not, and I'm not really attached to what they do with that. It's just a thought. And but I see the difference that sort of comes over who they are. The suffering dissipates, and there's more joy in their life. And ultimately that's what I like to create for myself, is more joy and less suffering.
And what if it's already created? What if you can just stop bothering with trying to create it? It still implies polarity. And there's not. God is everything. There's no polarity there. One. And then when you can hit that, you can come to see that it's too heavy. And you go to this. And even that is too prideful. It still says you know that last little piece. Nothing. One. God is everything. Just do that. Or not.
I wrote my number 6 as it sounded kind of funny that I'm never going to die, and there's a truth in that, and then it's also an illusion depending on how you look at it. But there's a part that knows that it never dies, and yet there's the ego that connects with that thought. You can't believe it could ever end.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So then I'm willing to, and I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
Right now.
Very well said. Nothing comes to an end but the ego's chatter. Nothing. Without the ego's chatter, there's no life. You would be this. You would be this. I use the metaphor of raindrops. They just fall. They don't say, oh, my, you should have fallen over there. You're too wet. Gosh, couldn't you just have waited for me? You're too fat, you're too thin. But without that chatter, there's nothing. You're just like a raindrop, snowflake, the flower, nature. Drop the chatter and know. Be that you are.
My connotation of a question that I had for so long in my life is, why am I here? Why was I ever born? And what is my purpose here? And my conclusion is that, am I conscious to become aware that I am all of it, pure consciousness? And in pure consciousness, if that's what I am, when my fear comes up, I don't fight with it like I used to. I make friends with it because that's part of me.
Yes.
I had a teacher who, I said to him, I know sometimes, and it's so wonderful, and then I get caught and I get lost again. And he looked in my eyes and he says, even when you're lost, that's still pure consciousness. That's still Brahman. And it's been an incredible gift to me. In my confusion, I come back to that, and I'm free again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we are pure consciousness, my question sometimes to me is, why in the heck did it take me so long to wake up to it?
And everything you just said is why. So my thought is, you began with, do you remember how you just began that? Like a purpose here, or do you remember how you began it?
Well, I always wanted to know why I'm here.
Okay.
As a human being, as a form.
And of course you would wonder, and wonder and wonder to your dying breath, why am I here? I'm not. And what is my purpose? There isn't one. So we continue to chase what doesn't exist, and that's the chatter. It says that,
the grasping.
Yeah.
The grasping.
Okay, there was other hands. Yes, honey.
I wanted to relate my experience in the meditation this morning. As we were getting into the meditation, I became aware of the sounds of the door opening and closing, and people shuffling around and coughing, and I remembered that yesterday when I heard all those sounds, I was quite irritated by a lot of it. I just wanted to hear the peace and the silence. And then I remember something that you said yesterday floated into my mind about the enjoyment of every movement, every movement being pure joy. And as I remembered that, I started to hear the sounds and hear every little shuffle and sound is God moving. I knew that. I knew that every movement of paper, every breath, every sigh was God's movement. It all became God's movement rather than individual people's coughing and spluttering and the crackling of the fire. It was like it all was God's movement, and it was so beautiful.
Yes. And there's nothing that's not that. They can be yelling at you and pointing their finger, and it's nothing more than a door opening, the crackling of the fire. It's the sound of God, except for your beliefs.
And it was so much easier to stay in that with my eyes closed and just with the listening. I was afraid that once I opened my eyes and all the visual information started to come in, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to stay in that.
And then that's when you inquire, can I really know that? What do I get for holding the belief that opening my eyes is not same as eyes closed? Separation. The inquiry. Let's pass it back here to Bill. Did you have your hand up, Bill?
I guess my question is, isn't God just another belief?
Yes.
So how can you really know that God is everything?
It's a focus. It's a focus to get down to the one. There are many names for God.
Yeah, that's really a confusing.
Yeah, but it's all just a focus when we get it down to one. You could worship anything as long as it were singular by any name. And everything goes back to that, one-minded. This is everything. That focus is everything. And it's the only thing that won't move. Like if you worship money, you'll get it or won't, but you'll have a focus. You won't want this, you won't want that, you won't want, or sexuality, sex, alcohol, drugs. Whatever you worship, it becomes everything. So to worship like God, reality, truth is a really good one to focus on because it continues, you continue to expand with it. Whereas if you worship a thing, it falls apart, moves away. So we've got the focus on just truth. And we all come to the same one when we inquire. So that is the one. It all comes down to the one. So some of us speak of an experience, and then the others join if it attracts them. If that person living with that focus that we call God or truth, if it attracts, we say, what is that? And then the person says, what is that? And then we give them our experience, and they try it, and it happens that is their freedom too. Now, if I worship money and that appeals to you, then you can come to me and say, how do you do it? And I say, here's how I do it. But in a material world, it's going to keep moving and changing, so it's not as consistent. What I'm saying is the only addiction that serves is truth. And will continue to give back at an even higher level more than you can even fathom or conceive of. It's just an experience that runs consistent with people who stay in it. And you're welcome to worship anything and see if it works. You know, that's the beautiful thing about here. Until we join reality, nothing works. Internally, we don't resonate.
So when you say worship, I'm not getting the concept.
It would be to
just basically focusing. Is that all you're saying?
Well, worship would be like me being attached to my friend or my parents living. I would be worshiping that belief that they should live. Well, that doesn't work. So maybe I'll just worship reality, and it just appears to work and work and work.
And the other question I had was, since you mentioned resonance again, are you talking about I'm trying to understand the concept of
Okay, that would just be what you would call feel comfortable, feel good. Yeah, just one with, just comfortable, sick or well. You have that thing inside of you that just resonates, that nothing can move you from. You know how when you've been very, very sick, the phone will ring and there'll be someone on the line that really excites you, and all of a sudden you're not sick. You're resonating. So we have that inside without the phone call.
So it's kind of a condition of interest and integrity that it's like rock solid. It's a focal point.
Yes. Because the friend that I resonate with turned out to be truth inside of me, and it doesn't take a telephone, it doesn't take you, it doesn't take my husband, it doesn't take any material thing. I focus on that, and I continue to resonate. I continue to be at peace, and nothing seems to move that. Nothing physical appears to move that, because it's only my belief about the physical that would move it, and that's what we're doing here. We're seeing how that works. And death is a physical.
So I guess as long as I got the microphone, I have another question. I'm having a problem with this you can't know business. And from my, if I'm understanding it correctly, from what you're saying, you can't know that. All of these things are either past or future. But I think if you're really here and now, that implies that you're aware. And if you are here and now and are aware, you can know things that are occurring now.
No, you can. I can't.
Right.
And if you go inside and really inquire, you may come to see that you can't either.
Well, being aware implies some sort of, to me, implies a sort of perception. Being...
True.
Okay.
True.
And if you're perceiving...
So you could say I'm the least aware person you've ever met. Mm-hmm. Okay. What I love about the work is it's an experience. Who of you who have not done the work before would like to do the work? Let's do it.
Serena, I don't like God because He arranged my mind in a way that makes me dull and sleepy, uncreative.
That experience the morning meditation and the music. This is the author, the writer, the singer, the musician. It was very lovely.
And this is my story. I don't like God because He arranged my mind in a way that makes me feel dull, sleepy, uncreative, simple, uncaring, identifying with erroneous beliefs, mistakes, a lack of sharpness, and an ongoing wanting.
Yes. So I don't like God Put I don't like me and read it.
I don't like me because I arranged my mind in a way that makes me dull, sleepy, uncreative, simple, uncaring, identifying with erroneous beliefs, losing sharpness, and an ongoing wanting.
Yes.
So I take that responsibility.
Yes, I do. It was me. I arranged my mind that way so that I can get something for it. There's something, you're getting something for that. You're getting something for arranging your mind that way. What is it? We're hearing some of it in the writing. You don't have to get up. You don't have to move when you think you should. And you get to feel the shame and the guilt and the discomfort of that. And call it God doing it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have it arranged that way.
Is that true? It's very innocent. And it hasn't been my experience. I tell the story of prior to knowing what we're discussing right now, in my innocence, I would have the belief most days or every day for at least 7 years where my mind would say, get up. And then the belief system would just pile on top of it nonstop with every belief why I should not get up. And one metaphor I use is my mind would say, brush your teeth. And then thousands of beliefs on top of that. I could not even brush my teeth. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't brush my teeth. I couldn't walk. I couldn't be with my children. Because the beliefs telling me why I didn't have to. They were all erroneous. The voice would say, get up. And today I say, I don't say anything. I just get up. The voice is me. Love. To argue with it is my agony. I live for the voice of truth within me. I live for that. It's my only desire. It says go. I don't tell the story about where I'm going. I just go. They call me to places that a lot of people wouldn't find appropriate. I say yes. Because I don't have a story about why I shouldn't.
So this is really just the arguing with the truth and the attached beliefs that...
So read it again like you did and see if it makes more sense to you. I don't like me because I arranged my mind in a way that makes me dull, sleepy, uncreative, simple, uncaring. Is it making more sense now?
Yes.
Can you hear it? I arrange my mind to keep me from doing my heart's desire. So that I can prove there's suffering in the world. And if I'm convincing enough, I can get you to validate it, and we can all prove that God isn't good. In other words, that you are less than you are. Yes, honey.
How do you unarrange this?
How do you unarrange it? Only one way that I know. The truth. The truth. It's only the truth that set me free. The voice comes that says, get out of bed. The next voice says, what for? No one cares. So then that's the space I go into and I say, sweetheart, is it true? No one cares. Can you really know that? And what does it have to do with you getting out of bed? She rises. It's the truth that set me free. Otherwise, if I don't stop and ask the truth, at 4,000 a minute, I get to hear every not valid reason for staying stuck. And to stay stuck is the opposite of movement, change. And therefore, painful. I'm still when I'm still. I move when I move. I follow the voice. And it's not the voice that says, get up. It's a knowing within you. Again, I use that word resonance. It's a resonance within you. And when you don't follow it, you hurt. And there are names for it, like lazy. Oh my, we have some sloth, greed. I need to bother with the truth now if I'm comfortable. It's when I'm not comfortable I'm experiencing the lie and I take a look. There's nothing else to do. You may as well. There's nothing else to do. If you think going to work, yes I do, I have to go to work. It's only for that also. Because everything's going to arise. The story about going to work is going to arise. The story about working is going to arise. The story about being with your children is going to arise. There's nothing else to do, haven't you noticed? It's all just a story about nothing to give you the experience of awareness if you're tired of the job of not awareness. There's only one job. Know yourself. The truth will set you free. Know the truth.
Well, in a way, I feel all these complaints are nearly the nature of the mind, wanting it differently, wanting it in a different way than it is at the moment. And if
and the truth is, you don't want it different than it is in the moment. So can you hear it?
Yes.
It wants it different than it is in the moment, and that is where we suffer. Because the truth is, we want it just like it is in the moment. The way that we know is when we want it differently, we hurt, and we're real clear about we don't want that.
Yes.
We'll do anything not to hurt. Anything short of truth, because some of us haven't had a way. Now that we have a way, we get it all. We get it all. At whatever level we are, from the toddler all the way up, inside of us. The inside toddler all the way up. This work will give you an incredible material world. A wonderful material world. And it will take you a lot further than that if you care to go, because eventually you don't give a damn about a material world. You think you do, the work will give you that. It's a beginning. It says you're okay where you are. Yes, honey.
I just had an experience of presence and how expansive it is. And I could literally feel that I could be present to a certain extent, and then it was way bigger than I could hold. So I really had an experience also of, what keeps me not present is like my fear, I guess, of my ability to hold it all. It's quite amazing.
Yes, honey. Yes,
Thank you.
You're experiencing your nature. All of it.
But then,
and then drop the all.
She can't hold it. What did you get for holding that belief?
And where she is really fine for her. So if we go in with the inquiry when it's working, it takes from us the expansion.
But if she did the inquiry on that, wouldn't that help her expand more?
It would help you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you get it, Christy? She was complete. It was you over there.
Wanting to go.
Yeah. So the work can be used to cut down, to keep you from the experience that the truth just gave you. We can use anything to cut that experience off. I watch people who facilitate the work. Someone will get it and they'll just pop. They'll just blast. And someone will come in. And can you know that? You know, no. It's like, really, thank you for facilitating this. Yeah, so just to be very sweet when you're with the other. Let them have where they are. Whether it suits you or not. You can't know me till you know yourself. If it looks like love, be still. Join that.
I don't like God as He arranged me to be dependent or suffering when my body disintegrates or weakens.
Turn it around.
I don't like myself as I arranged me to be dependent or suffering when my body disintegrates or weakens.
Yes. To be a little more clear, you could put, I don't like my mind. Because it's arranged itself. To call what is beauty, my skin could be rotting off, and my mind could be arranged where it would call that less than beautiful. I've arranged it. I have arranged it, not God. I have arranged it. Call that, ooh, yuck, danger, danger. And it's just being this.
So what I call disintegration or weakness is just
the extreme opposite. It's you moving as you are. You evolving, not disintegrating.
Ooh. And I go to number 2.
Good.
God wants me to learn His way and wants me to remember Him always.
Oh my. I really know what God wants. Okay. As long as I'm defining God, I can't know God. Let's turn it around.
I want myself to learn my way and want myself to remember myself always.
Yes, Angel. Now there's another turnaround there. It's like it's not God's job, it's yours.
Yes, I take it.
Yes. So, sweetheart, there's another turnaround that's so sweet. I want me to, and read it.
I want me to learn my way.
I want me to learn God's way.
Oh, I want me to learn God's way. And to remember Him always.
Yes, Angel. His name, your name, the same. And when you were turning around to you, that was God's way. Your hand went to your heart and there's joining. The same. God's way, in my experience, leaves it to me to join. He's always there. He's always joined. It's me that moves. To know my way is to know His way. My way in truth. And to know His way is to know my way in truth. We're one.
My body wants more attention and care and being treated with love and awareness always.
Oh my, bodies don't know or care or they're not interested. I mean, my mind, it follows my mind. It's an obedient servant. My mind says it's time to go to bed now. And the body just follows the belief over to where what it calls bed. And it just lies on it, whether it's bed or not, because the mind says so. It lies down and it waits for mind to wake up. It just lies there like a slab. It's simply an effect to show us mind. It's a perfect mirror of mind. So let's turn it around.
I want more attention and care, and
my mind wants
my
more.
mind wants more attention and care, and wants to be treated with love and awareness.
Yes.
Always.
If you give it to body, you're giving it to an outside source. Give the truth to you.
Mm-hmm. Yet when I treat it with love and awareness, my body, it functions better.
And that's wonderful, and it's a wonderful way. I respect that. It's a loving way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a generation away from cause
mm-hmm.
in duality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what happens if you lose your hands and your legs? Oh dear.
Yeah, big trouble.
Big trouble. Because I've been giving my body everything so it could be more healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's not able to function, I'm in doo-doo here, deep doo-doo here. Yeah. So, but if that's what it takes, take my arm and legs, take them all so that I can come to know. Or we can just do it from here.
Oh, let's do it here.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's good.
That brings me to number 3. My body should be more should be more flexible, solid, healthy, strong, radiant, and my mind should be sharp.
Okay, let's stop there with the body. Okay? It's hopeless. I mean, I'm over here, I'm 95 years old, and I'm not flexible. My body is not flexible. It's all arthritic over here. Okay, that's hopeless. Read it again, just the way you wrote it.
My body should be more flexible, solid, healthy, strong, radiant.
Hopeless. It's hopeless. I mean, I am full of arthritis here and cancer, and a thought like that is what... I'm like this. A thought like that is what makes me like that. Because it's not true. I have cancer, and a thought like that just... because it's an untruth. So let's turn it around and put my mind should be.
My mind should be more flexible.
Yes.
Solid, healthy, strong, and radiant.
Yes. That'll work.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like truth to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my body strong and flexible and beautiful and radiant and and it's still just an opinion. Or a truck hits it. There goes that theory. And then I should be flexible when I'm laying there in all of these traction, in this traction, and I'm going to hurt. Because I'm going to take that belief with me everywhere I go. And when I'm not flexible and I'm not radiant and I'm not healthy, it's an untrue belief. It's going to, the body will give me back whatever I need to come to know I'm in a lie. Mm-hmm. It will stop being flexible. That's why when I say I'm not my body, it's not a theory, it's true.
I feel more, it's like a preference, that I have a preference that my body is good, that I can go for walks and enjoy the movement of the body. I'm a body person. I love all that it has to do and give me.
Now,
I prefer it to
what it
work
gives
with.
you is it validates that that's better than something else. A flexible body gives me, it feeds the belief that this is better than being than being, like we could say, cripple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The more flexible I am, the more egoic I get, the more radiant I am, the more I'm validating that it's not equal to this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To this broken one over here that's not broken.
And fear it more in a way, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I love when I'm walking and it's fluid and I'm strong and And I love that, and it's not me. I love when I'm broken and et cetera, et cetera. That's not me either. No beliefs to interfere, to say one's higher and lower. And this is not to say, if you want to be flexible, truth is so intricate. If you want to be flexible, and if you eat something like, say you eat like a sugar is God, coffee is God, alcohol is God, the whole thing. But if you eat sugar and notice your arthritis has what you call flared up. And if you don't eat sugar, it doesn't. Okay? And you interfere with that fluidity that you say you want, and you eat the sugar and you're not fluid, you're not going to like you. So the truth from where you are is everything. If it says walk, walk. If it says don't eat sugar, then don't eat sugar. If when you're eating it says stop, stop. Because when you don't honor that voice, what happens is the mind says, you're terrible, you're never going to get it, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're not fluid enough. And if you just stop, you don't get the war zone. You get peace. So the truth, so that's why God is food, God is everything. Right there in your face saying, honor the truth within you in the moment. It doesn't have any boundaries. It's where you are now. So it's not about a fluid body, it's about a fluid mind. But let's go, let's go, let's go.
My mind should be sharper, comprehend larger, complex issues, more articulate, clearer. My memory should be larger and faster. And my mind should be quiet when I want.
Okay, now is any of that true? Sounds pretty hopeless to me. How do I know my mind should be busy? It is. Read the first one again.
My mind should be sharper?
I don't think so. It seems pretty dull right now to me. It should be sharper for what? To get
for the
what?
Fullness of living, for the fullness of expression of myself.
Fullness of living looks like a dull mind. You missed it. Can you hear it? My mind is so dull, it's missing the fact that it's not sharp enough to see that, how do I know it's to be dull? Right now, it's dull. Don't know another way of saying this. I'm so dull, I think my mind should be less than dull. Okay? Heard that one? My life would be much better if my mind weren't dull. Can you really know that that's true? You're being protected and not even appreciating it. You're experiencing grace and throwing it out the window. With the belief that you should be different in the moment than what you are. So again, it's the truth that sets you free. No exception.
Yeah, I'm not hanging on to those shoulds anyway. It just feels like if there's something to aspire to say, what do I want out of life? Then I would.
It implies that there's life.
Out of
the way that you make life, you make it. The way that you make life is you set up how it won't be dull, how you should be flexible, how you could, all of this stuff in the physical world, and you miss life. It's prior to all of that. When you hit a truth, the way we've been doing today, it leaves the internal as life, eternally. It stops creating time and space and place and body. So we're seeing specifically how we create time and body.
For example, in the moment, what you're saying, I can feel the depth and truth of it. Yet I feel my mind is not really able to comprehend the depth and the truth of it.
That's because it's not supposed to.
Well, that would be the way I know how I operate. And if I would understand this, I would integrate it into my system that way.
Let's look at the next one. Yeah, see, it's a great theory, but can you know that it's true? So your experience is what we're interested in, and I hear you. Let's look at the next one.
Away from the shoulds now, or still,
No,
my memory should be large.
Yeah, keep going down the list.
My memory should be larger and faster.
Okay, can you really know that that's true? All of you, are you asking? Can you really know that that's true? It implies you're not okay the way you are. God is everything, but not the way He made me right now. You know, God is everything, but not me. You just excluded yourself.
And my mind should be quiet when I want.
And can you know that that's true?
I would also say from experience, I know that when my mind is quiet, I get into a depth of existence that really has value and meaning to me.
Yes.
So from that experience, I say, that is something I want.
Yes. So I'm not having it when I'm doing all the things about how my mind should be quiet, I'm not being quiet. So if that were really your preference, you would be still in the moment.
Yes.
So that's all this work is doing. Is how do I know it shouldn't be quiet? It's not. And that truth, I get quiet. It's the truth that gives me quiet, and there's nothing, no symbol more sacred than another. Not even the word peace or God. Nothing sacred. But the real thing has to be absolutely pure. So that's what we're doing. Let's look at the next one.
God is tough. My body is unpredictable, and my mind is unreliable.
Okay, so turn it around.
I am tough.
My mind.
My mind is unpredictable.
And my body.
My body is unreliable.
Yes. Now you've got it. Now you've got it squared away. Could you hear it? Pretty subtle, huh?
I need my body-mind to work perfectly for me and have radiant health. I need my mind to be clear, sharp, articulate, quiet when not in use.
You got that one. I mean, you got it. So, you know, that's very sweet. Just don't use it.
Good. I got it.
Yeah.
And I refuse to accept the shortcomings of my body-mind. I refuse to accept the ruminating mind that keeps me from appreciating the peace inside, a foggy mind, and I refuse to accept when I cannot express myself.
Yes. So those of you that are new to number six, we don't reverse or turn around. I mean, we don't reverse it or inquire. We just become willing to. And we notice that there's a very interesting expansion that takes place. So
I'm willing to accept the shortcomings of my body-mind.
Oh, my honey, feel that.
I do.
Yes, I look forward to.
I look forward to accept the shortcomings of my body-mind.
Yes. How loving. becoming friend of yourself. Becoming one who would give you what you give us and have given us all these years. Sounds like music to me.
Thank you.
I'm willing.
I'm willing to accept a ruminating mind that keeps me from appreciating the peace. I'm willing to accept a foggy mind and when I cannot express myself.
Oh, sweetheart, do you feel it?
Yeah.
It's love. It's like holding a precious child and saying, you've got a foggy mind. Stop that. You see? You're giving you what you would give your child. Are you all doing this? So let's all do the I look forward to.
I look forward to accepting